I wish.
All right.
Unfortunately, Uncle
Give
Sam
it a
won't be
couple of
nice.
years, man.
Yeah.
Recording has been started. Yeah. Let's first introduce each other. I'm the host. People who should already know who I am, but let's go to habitual, and then we'll go to Riley and introduce yourselves.
I mean, what are we doing? My name's
I mean,
Habitual
you
Line
could because you
Crosser,
are
and I'm a
technically a
premature
professional.
ejaculator. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a professional, man, but
So
I,
you could
I
whatever title you feel good, but also like letting people know, hey, these two individuals are in the military and have been in the military. So like context.
okay. I'm a habitual line crosser. I started making videos right around 2016. Currently, cumulative, all my social medias, I have almost 600,000 followers, and I like to party.
Nice.
There you go. We'll go with that. We'll go hot route style.
And
Hell yeah.
then we got Riley.
And I'm the one Riley. I'd really just go by Riley, the one Riley on everything. I started making videos back when Instagram first started doing videos, and then Vine, and now TikTok. So I've been in the game for a pretty well long time. I don't know if I can ever like calculate an accumulation of followers because I've had so many accounts deleted by TikTok and Vine and everything. So it's just
Been
insanity.
there.
I never
Yeah,
did Vine. You got me there, man. I wanted to.
I miss it.
I didn't
I
have
miss
time.
it a lot.
I got maybe the last year and a half of Vine before it actually got removed.
Hmm.
And I remember downloading. We got a choice for Vine. You remember that we got to choose to download all our Vine videos because they were like
Hmm.
there were so many, and I only had like 10.
Jesus. I'm
Somebody downloaded all mine somewhere. They're in like a database, and I'll have to pull it up again or something.
I think you can find it back with a Wayback Machine.
I'm kind of
Oh
glad
yeah.
I didn't do Vine because my second Article 15 was for a social media video, which to this day is one of the funniest videos I've ever made in my entire life.
Wait, you got an Article 15 because of a video?
I did. It was a joke, and it was a really funny joke. So we were out
Not
in the field.
apparently.
Yeah, no. Well, my commander thought it was funny, but my battalion commander not
Ah.
so much. Um, so we're on our site, and it's piss and rain, has been for a couple days, and I'm the battery trainer, staff sergeant at the time, and I decide to make a joke about flash floods. So they go and tell my commander, my first sergeant, like, there's a flash flood, and like they come running over, and here comes staff sergeant at the time, Long, running out from behind a Hemet, butt naked. Um,
Ah.
and I was like screaming at the top of my lungs, and like they laughed, but someone videotaped it. It ended up on social media, and yeah, yeah.
Daggum.
To this day, one of the funniest videos I've ever made, and I will recreate it when I retire. I assure you, that is top of my list. That thing is far too funny for the world not to enjoy.
Absolutely. Here's my question: how long have you been in the military?
January will be 14 years for me.
And I was in the military from December 2015 to December 2021, so 6 years.
You recently just came out.
Yes, sir. I'm
Oh,
loving every
wow.
second of it.
You
Oh.
you're loving the like you're gonna grow that mustache out more or that beard.
No, I can't grow a beard. I can't. I've already like
I believe
I
you.
know I'm like oh it's scraggly and I've tried all the
Look at
products
habitual.
and
He got
everything.
like 5 o'clock shut up by just sitting
I was
here.
like, I was like,
Yeah,
I'm on day one.
yeah.
Trying to
I'm
grow
like
my
you shaved
beard.
this morning.
It was maybe the length of your mustache. My whole beard was that length. January, and this
My
is
wife
about
says,
a year almost at this point because January's around the freaking corner.
my old lady says when I retire, I'm allowed to grow my beard out for a year. After that, I have to shave it all back off. So maybe.
Oh,
Ooh, depends on what if she likes it though.
Well, that's the thing. So
she'll like it.
she's part of the reason I started shaving my head, and I do it not because I'm exactly bald. Like I can grow it out enough that it's hidden and you won't know. But this is to keep my haircut like that is fucking $8 a month rather than $40 a month. So
Mhm.
And then we
I'm
got
all about
$150
economics.
with Riley over here looking.
Yeah, that is exactly how much I spend on hair products too. I shit you not.
Jesus
Redkins is the
Christ.
best.
I spend shit. This beard is a lot. Well, I should be putting more product in it. I haven't been being able to afford oil because that's ironically expensive. even with inflation. But with like normal soap and conditioner, it's probably like 30 bucks a month. But with oil and with
That's
like
not
all
bad.
like balm and other like products that I start using, that could easily go up to $200.
Okay, honest. What does beard oil do? Like, I don't know. I
So
guess.
think about this. Hair is just dead. That like
Yeah.
your hair is growing and is literally just the formation of dead keratin all and formed in this lovely whatever rendition of a mustache or beard. So you're taking care of a corpse, right? You
Okay.
got to. It's not necessarily revitalizing per se. It does help the hair from splitting and doing other things that it shouldn't be doing, or like feeling like a straw or something like that. But it's mainly for the skin. With a beard, your skin in under this beard is a desert, and it is for me, because if you don't take care of your beard, you're gonna have the worst itching and pain of your life. So it's
Okay.
mainly just for keeping your skin. Balm and conditioner and like proper soaps aren't to maintain the beard softness, structure, and just less the softer, more like strong the beard is, the less it itches and less it dries and so on and so forth. So
And the fragrance
Fair
is
enough.
nice too.
I honestly, I can't stand it. I love fragrance free stuff because it kills me. I don't know why.
I tell you what. This is. Yes, I use their product. No, I'm not sponsored by their product. If you guys, for like shaving purposes, look up the Cason Shaving Company. They have sent me some stuff, but they got this shaving soap to use like the old school like brush and stuff
Yeah.
with it. It's called Fire
Oh.
for Effect. It's vanilla, coffee, and hatred. I don't know where they get the hatred smell from, but it smells
Marine Corps.
fucking magnificent.
Oh,
It
I
is-
bet.
They
Oh,
get the hatred
it's-
from Marine Corps.
oh, it's so good, man. Like they sent me that stuff. I got a candle. They sent me a candle with it too, and I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. Yeah.
It depends.
Oh,
Like
They
there's
like to
certain smells.
bottle up Marine Corps E4 tears and put it in there. That's
Just-
the extract.
Yeah.
Mm.
Find them when they
So-
get back from the field. Like, here you go.
So what did you do in the Air Force, Riley? What would you do? 'Cause you said you.
I
so the-
was. Oh no, continue. I'm sorry.
No. I was thinking it's like because the context. Riley made a video replying because I wanted to say the hypothetical like if a B1 Lancer would fly and if it did hold nukes, how much could it technically carry? Right? On paper. But
70,000
Riley was
pounds?
like, they suck.
Yeah, they ain't
So-
good. They could hold a good 8 on a good day, but we have the STAR Treaty with Russia, and that's actually one of the things that I did too. I was on the STAR Treaty with Dias Air Force Base, and we would have Russian KGB agents fly out there, and they would actually inspect the B-1 bombers on a yearly basis. So I was a part of that team, but my main job was I was the weapons load crew member for B-1 bombers, and I also did the F-16s while I was in Misawa, Japan.
Oh, you were in Misawa? I had a brother. He's out in Misawa. Well, he was. I don't know where the hell he's at now.
I miss that place so much.
Every
I don't miss
time
the work, but I miss that place.
Every
Ooh.
time someone talks about being stationed in Japan, they're always like, "It's so nice."
You either got Okinawa, Yokota, or you got Misawa. You got those three to pick from, and I think every place is great.
I don't know. My brother was also in Yokosuka. That's way up north. He's
Oh
in
yeah,
Hawaii, so
Yokosuka. I forgot about that one. Yeah,
It's
I
a
didn't
frigid
take Davey
Iceland,
into account.
apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yep. In Misawa, you got about 6 feet of snow on average every week.
Hmm.
God damn.
Yeah, if you ever look up anything for the Amori Prefecture, any kind of snow videos, there's just walls. There's like 20
Wait, are those like those walls of like where
roads
the
go through.
buses are driving? Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's Japan. It's the Far East, man. Everything over there is just hyper efficient. It's like if Chick-fil-A was a country.
Exactly.
Like everything over there is just super fucking efficient. Everything they do.
And-
I'll give Japan that, and I'll make there's room for jokes saying how we help them and we created anime with that one specific. I'm sorry.
That's one thing that happened.
That
it was a-
may have affected their culture.
It was a gender
significantly.
reveal for a little boy that the U.S. had.
Mm.
Um,
That is
I'm sorry.
the best analogy I've ever heard about a nuclear warhead in my life.
I'm sorry.
Riley's dead.
Oh fuck, that one got me.
But unfortunately,
You know-
history played differently.
This is the thing. If I may interject there,
No,
right?
of course,
Right.
interject all the time.
So there's a couple of things like people they say like, well, you should feel bad for war. No, I don't, because if the Empire of Japan or Nazi Germany had nuclear or atomic weapons, they would have used them on us just as quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't feel bad. It was a means to an end. It was either that or invade mainland Japan, which would have been one of the
Bloodbath.
bloodiest things that have ever been seen, right? And then you get these people nowadays, especially Americans. No one deserves to die. Fuck that. Hitler deserved to die. Stalin deserved to die. Fucking Ed Gein, Charles Manson, Jeffrey Dahmer, like all of them deserve to die.
Oh my
So
god.
we started watching that show. I haven't seen all of it yet, but
It's brutal.
started watching.
Brutal.
I mean, so far it's fucking weird.
I'm an American Horror Story fan, so they picked the perfect actor for Jeffrey Dahmer. But they gotta put him in a rom-com, like at least once. Make him smile. He's always been sad and depressed and psychotic in everything he's been in.
He was
I think he had
when
some
he was
fun as
Quicksilver. Yeah, I was like Quicksilver.
Okay, yeah.
I liked him as that. That was a really good role for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just polar opposite from everything he's ever recently done. So that's something that I didn't really want to get into, the Star Treaty, by the way, until I've read up like nicely on it. And then this is a perfect opportunity, because, be completely honest, I had no idea about it. I'm glad I know about it, because it's an interesting thing, and I'm glad both countries are at least trying to take it serious. At least, especially with that specific word being thrown around by our very lovely Make-A-Wish patient over there. And that's my nickname for him.
So I will tell you this. So my job in the military is ballistic missile defense. My job is to hunt nuclear, chemical weapons, stuff like that, shoot things down. Unfortunately, I wouldn't really be much use to the bad guys because I know how to combat everything that I know that exists out there, and I don't really even know how to beat my own system. Like, aside from walking up and like shooting the guy operating it, I honestly have no idea how to beat my system. I really don't. So that being said, I get to go behind closed doors with a lot of like the layered air defense, and I'm in I've spent 4 years as part of the Futures Command, which is all the new shit coming out, and we're constantly like bridging these gaps and doing all this stuff. And I'm not really worried. Like I am, but I'm not, because like that whole. Am I the only one? Maybe I'm alone here, and I'm kind of bridging this topic here. Am I the only one that feels like this whole invasion of Ukraine isn't Russian? Like it just doesn't feel like Russia. Like everything we thought we knew. Am I the only one?
No.
I feel like I feel like I'm in the same boat with you there, because everything that I've been trained on with how Russians would be worked tactically, that's not the way that it would go down.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a strange feeling. Like we're not seeing any Su-35s. They're 5th gen fighters. We're not seeing any S-400s. Their newest air defense system. We saw some S-300s. Cool, congratulations. We're not seeing any T-14s. We saw T-80s, but we didn't see any T-14s. Like all their good shit they haven't used. So it's either not good shit or they're keeping it for another reason. I have no idea. Just the whole thing just feels weird.
So I've looked into the T-14 thing. Good luck ever seeing it. Because so the first idea for any of the podcast listeners is the T-14 Armada, is the correct way to pronounce it, I'm assuming, is like their next generation, like future tech, like tank. Now on paper, it's a formidable badass tank. Like it separates the crew from the loading mechanism, which is famously a T-72 issue.
That's how you blow turrets off.
Yeah, and Russian Space Agency Type 2. But they were planning on halting because they were having production issues. But it inevitably, and they were wanting to push it to 2025 before they restarted. But in I think it was like sometime in 2018, they completely canceled. Like it's not in production. The serialized ones that exist are parade ponies, and I have not ever seen combat, and I likely won't.
I just Here's the thing. So Putin is a fucking madman, and there's no way to sugarcoat that. He just is.
Yep.
But he's not stupid. The dude doesn't go to the bathroom unless it provides a tactical advantage to himself. Like that's just the way the guy works. He's a KGB agent, has been for. I don't know if you guys heard about like when the fall of when Soviet Russia fell. Putin was in an outpost, convincing everybody around that he had like 200 or 300 people in there, and he was alone, and so they never came through the doors. Like the guy doesn't know how to back down from anything. It's really strange to just see what's going on right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, I know I'm like making it serious. We should be more light and happy. But you want to hear a dick joke?
No,
Fuck
this
it,
is like this. Hey, there's room for both. Now, I have another friend of mine who me and him are being host and co-host. We're gonna be also recording another session tomorrow, and he's from northern Michigan, or northern Wisconsin. Shit, if he hears
you're
that,
gonna get in trouble now. He's gonna hear it.
He's loud. He's rambunctious. So I was wanting to let's have a serious one and let's break down what we talked about tomorrow. Because I love him to death, but he's loud.
Oh, he's gonna break down that Michigan comment for at least 20 minutes.
It's gonna send you bloody like curd balls to your front door.
Oh my god, he's amazing, and he has his channel that's currently being digitally fucked around by TikTok every single moment. He's gotten temp banned 8 times this month, and they for some reason just haven't banned him yet. Though all of his old videos are getting taken down.
I tell you right now, you want to know the best trick in the world that I've learned with TikTok?
Nice.
Analogies and synonyms. So that's why like the Fat Electrician does it too, right? That's why instead of calling something, like, oh, it kills a lot of people, say, oh, this is a great people opener. Number one, that provides comedic value. Number two, they can't use that shit against you.
That's perfect.
I'm telling you, synonyms, analogies, things like that, that is how I almost never get a video taken down. Like, that's my trick.
I've just stopped cussing, and then I'm just going to save it for anything out of TikTok. For example, podcasts.
Oh.
I can be as mean as I want, because this is an adult-rated podcast.
That is
and
fair.
if Spotify has a problem, they can email me.
Also,
From
I did
my
like your
last
video about the
email.
T14 and the Abrams. I found that quite entertaining.
That video went nuts. It's already above 1 million views. It's
Nice.
insane. A friend of mine said, you're on iFunny. And I was like, what do you mean I'm on iFunny? Sends me a video link, and a guy gets he posted the Iowa one, the one that's on 1.1 million right on the top of the pin.
Okay.
That one, I've learned not to get in the way of people in the states they live in and their worship, because they are ravenous.
That's why I don't talk about British systems anymore, but that's another story.
Oh my god. I just played with the idea of, what if we brought back an Iowa class? And people just ran.
Oh yeah.
It mind-blowing to me.
It'd also be cool as fuck.
So
It would be.
I know like roughly I check it about an hour. So like if I have a good video upload, I look at it an hour after I upload. I post it and I do not look at it again. Some people watch their own stuff. I watch it while it's in drafts and I kind of see what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But I don't watch it. I don't answer comments for the first hour. First hour it's up. I don't touch anything. In that first hour, if I hit 1,000 likes, that's the thing, is the likes. I don't care about views. The likes, 1,000 likes, that video is going to do decent. But like my ones that have hit the millions usually hit anywhere between 8 to 10,000 in that first hour. So after that, the ball's rolling, and it's the For You page is like a snowball effect, the way that it works, right? So it shows it to 100 people, and of that 100, if you have over 50% like and watch all the way through, then it shows it to another 1,000, and it's a snowball effect. So the more people that watch it all the way through, and the more people that like it, the further the video will go. Well, stop sucking robot dildos, bro.
Riley,
I got a pretty one.
Yeah, if you could suggest a way I can do this. I listen. Cards are just the easiest and cheapest way right now, because I don't exactly have a source of income, so they're just easier to get. But yeah, I know so much about the cartridge itself now that if I see one that looks any different than what I get, I know this is gonna be shit.
Well, you are running it off of a pretty hefty battery there. But I
I
mean, I would say just go straight RDA like I do. I mean, you can get pre-made coils and just whenever you start getting dry hits, put some
well,
more
what do you use
liquid on there. I
as a liquid?
use any of, oh, I'm not sponsored. I would love to be sponsored by these people, but Keep It 100 products, they're the best vape juices I've ever had in my life. They got me to stop smoking 3 times now. And
Three times. Shit.
yeah, yeah, because I went the first time right before the Air Force, and that's when like Keep It 100 came out. That's when I first tried them. Really sweet, really smooth flavor. Like everything goes in really good, and it got me to stop smoking, like get past my running tests and everything like that. And then again while I was in the Air Force, and then another time while I was in the Air Force, it just
So
kept on
Do they
going
ship
back to the loop.
overseas? That's what the soldiers care about. Do they ship overseas?
Yes, they do ship
Oh, there you
overseas
go.
There
because
you
they
go.
ship to Japan for sure.
Oh,
I
there
know
you
they
go.
ship to I was in UAE, they ship to UAE, they ship to Germany.
Wait, you were at ADAB?
I was at Al Udeid in Al Dhafra.
Al Dhafra, yeah, ADAB. I was at ADAB in 2016.
I was there for like a week in 2018.
Oh, I was like, Pat Site 8, 7, and 8 are both there on Al Dhafra, and I was on Pat 8. I was the tactical control assistant for my crew.
I got you.
I ran that bad boy. So those recent pictures and videos you saw the Patriot firing, that was my Pat Site, but unfortunately, fucking wasn't me. Lucky bastards, man.
Well, my brother would definitely send a beer to you because he was there during that time. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
just got back.
it was a good and bad thing. I mean, we can't talk about why it was a bad thing, but Patriot did what it was supposed to do. We'll call it that.
It, I like it. We go into some very highly classified territories when we talk about missile defense,
Oh yeah, big time.
and that's why I feel like I didn't want to talk about it because I'm not going to be the one caught talking out of my ass. And if a professional in this sense, if any of you get asked a question by anyone in the future, if you're ever on, because I'm gonna want y'all on. I'm just gonna make that
Oh,
clear.
absolutely.
Y'all are
Okay.
chill. Like make this a regular thing. It's always fun. If you get asked a question, just say ask another question because it's pretty simple. Because the last thing I want is my FBI office that's literally a half mile down the street have a guy in suits come to my door and say, "Hey, delete that episode."
Oh, so here's my trick, and I'm
And
sure
then you'll
my-
never see me again.
And I'm sure the one Riley will back me up here. I don't know how much classified information you know or have been privy to, but the trick that most people use is not giving a shit. So, for example, like if you say, "Well, how far can a Patriot radar see?" I look around and I go, "Really far." That's the trick. That's all people get.
Just be very vague.
Yep.
How do you
really far.
convert B1 from
That's
you know,
my step.
non-nuclear availability to nuclear availability? And say very carefully.
Exactly. Just not give it a shit.
Now, as a civilian, the government can't really. It's going to have a hard time for me to say that I'm doing anything bad because I haven't been privy to any classified information. So, unless someone else says it, they can deal with it. But
I kind of have double. So working in futures, I have obviously my classified side, but then each of those companies that I was working with that may rhyme with Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, or Northrop Grumman, I don't know. I'm not sure if they rhyme with that, but they each have like a 15-page non-disclosure agreement. So like on top of the secret side, I have shit that I can't say for any of those companies. So I just sit here in the middle and, well, what's that like? It's kind of cool. Like that's it. That's all people get out of me. So
it's definitely cool. See, I would like to join the Air Force, or I would like to join the Navy for in a more technical career field because I
I'm
attempted.
technical as fuck.
Yeah, I tried joining the Army in 2018 in infantry, and that was a fucking mistake. I never got more sick in my life than I had in the half of basic I went through in my life.
It's not that bad. Just gotta.
It's
I'd say it's
filthy.
just
ignore
because
what
of the
your body's telling you.
congregation of people.
They
it's-
gave us what really got us sick the first time because Georgia in the winter, 20 degrees. Virginia beats that on a daily basis. So I'm in Northern Virginia, so like we get cold all the time like that. So that doesn't bother me. It's when they gave us 2 pills, right? That on their own they're not bad, right? That you have to take them with gloves because they like the material on them, if they mix, they make a certain type of reaction exactly like the influenza. So our bodies, without the like aggressive, like deadly symptoms, so our bodies went through all the symptoms of the hardcore flu, and that was supposed to harden us to whatever getting sick. Though that didn't do shit. That just made us sick for the entirety of basic.
I'll be honest with you. Granted, I haven't gone through basic since 2009. I've never heard of anything like that.
I've been talking
Yeah,
about
me
that
either,
with
to be
friends,
honest.
and I don't know at this point because that's not a normal thing. I'm like, did they experiment on us?
You, I got anthrax 3 weeks in a row. They no longer give the anthrax vaccine. I don't know if you're aware of that, but it's no longer a thing.
Hope.
But yeah, you're supposed to get one shot every 6 months for the first 4 years of your career, and then after that, it's every year booster after that. And I was about to go to Afghanistan, and they pumped me full of anthrax, and then I lost my paperwork or something. Like they lost my paperwork because they didn't give it to me. And they're like, the next week, they're like, go back and get your anthrax shot. I'm like, I already did. They said, well, do you have a paper to prove it? And I said, no. And they sent me back. So I got an anthrax shot. The next week rolls around. Hey, where's your anthrax shot? Well, I got it again when you told me to go back and get it. Just go get it again. Is that safe? Yeah, sure it is. I did not feel good. I got 3 anthrax series in 3 weeks. I did not feel okay. Just putting that out there.
Well, at least you're fucking immune to anthrax now. God damn.
Fucking, and I could do a line of anthrax off of this fucking desk. And
You can huff that shit and be fine.
yeah, bro, I'd be good.
I recently like watched the 9/11 series that came out here, the 11th of like this September 11th, and about like the whole 9/11, like what happened and the after effects, including with the anthrax attacks and terror attacks. So I recently just watched all the stuff about the anthrax attacks, and I was like, God damn. Like the USPS did horribly with that whole situation. It's awful.
It's like, so, and somebody listening to this is about to have a real hard time. I just want you to know that as soon as I say this, they're going to have a real hard fucking time. The TSA is almost as useless as the ATF. They have literally caught 0 terrorists ever. They have caught one guy who was trying to blow up his shoe, but he was already on the fucking plane. I was about to say,
I remember that.
He was already on the goddamn plane.
What about the guy who blew up his underwear?
Oh, I haven't read about that one. Did he actually make it on?
I think I don't know where he was caught, but I know he had, I think it was plastic explosives woven into the elastics, which, what's the point other than cutting yourself in half?
Yeah, that's a directional charge.
Or
Good
just
job.
really, really quick gender reassignment surgery at that point. Yeah. That's what, dude?
Maybe with a small enough amount, I might blow his pants off, which would be kind of a cool party trick.
I think he would go into the the bathroom, take off the underwear, bundle it up real tight, and then use that as a makeshift. Like, I have a bomb, but again, it's just still like a time. It never worked, by the way.
Yeah,
I think I saw a picture of it being shorted out while he's being held by security.
I thought y'all were talking about that one time I shit myself in fucking wherever I was.
See, what did you eat that made you shit yourself? What kind of food?
No, it was a missile attack. I shat straight in my pants. I was scared as fuck, dude. I was first one ever. Like, I didn't have any mortars or anything before that. I can't remember where I was.
Ooh, where were you at? Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
Mortars.
We did things for Japan with the F-16s called island hopping. Oh, nice. And we would just get on a C-130, go with a couple of F-16s, and we would do supporter roles for different any kind of any kind of marine installations or anything like that. But we would go to air bases or places that were just completely off the map that we didn't even know where the fuck we were at.
Oh, I got to land in
middle of buttfucky.
We would do that, and that's why I say I went to Adolfra for a week, and then we would go somewhere else for a week, and then a week, and then a week, and we'd do that for 6 months.
Yeah, but y'all aviation guys, you'd always break down in fucking Spain or someplace cool.
We broke down in Germany, and we had a great time.
What, Frankfurt?
Let's see. I think we were in Ramstein, actually.
Yeah.
I want to say Ramstein.
Yeah,
my memory is absolutely
suffered there.
fucked.
You know,
Best
man,
fucking
that's
air base in Germany.
That's why, like, that's what sucks about being in the Army, right? Like, my brother, I got an older brother in the Navy and a younger sister in the Navy. And my older brother, he's a Navy chief, or he's a senior chief, he's an E8, whatever.
So they give you
Wow,
shit.
And he tells me,
congrats.
yeah, he tells me all this shit about, like, oh, dude, I was in Taiwan, I was in Thailand, I went to Guam, like, all these cool places he gets to go. And I was like, fucking, I went to
Fort Bliss.
Afghanistan. Like, fuck you, man. Like, this is
Yeah.
bullshit. Like, that's the thing. Even UAE, like, right? UAE is one of those weird countries that you almost forget you're in the Middle East. And then you get on the highway and there's some dude doing 160K on the wrong side of the highway, and you're like, yep, I'm still in the Middle East. Like, that's the moment you realize it. And fucking, I don't know whose idea it was. Like, that's the thing about the whole Middle East in general. You couldn't offer me enough money, because who the fuck was cruising across that desert in their camel and was like, you know what, this is nice. I think I'll stay here. This is good. 130 in the day, 95 at night. This is great. I'll just stick it out here. Fuck that.
I
oh,
want to
shit.
say it's like me getting out of the military and coming back to live in Montgomery, Alabama. It's just because I was born here. That's it.
Your accent definitely says that. It's thicker than hell.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten a lot thicker since I've been back. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
you
I
both-
tried to get rid of it when I was in the Air Force with all the cousin fucking jokes, but like,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, I was like,
that's West
oh, I
Virginia.
get back, nah.
Oh,
Oh,
I
dude,
mean,
they say Alabama too much.
yeah,
too much.
I ran
I
out of
looked
beers. I
into
gotta
it,
go
this-
downstairs to get one. Is that okay if you guys just
Yeah,
excuse
no,
me
go
for
ahead.
2 minutes?
Anytime you need
all
to go
good.
in and out, man.
All right.
So, like, I looked up, because I was looking up the joke, because there was jokes about that. I wanted to put, like, dumb skits where the states would sometimes get involved with the arguments with Russia. Or with whatever the hell was going on. And I made one buck-tooth joke. Wisconsin happened, and then I met my friend Space Dorito, who I was just talking about earlier. And then I make the fucking West Virginia joke. The amount of followers I got from West Virginia for that, for just saying, hey, by the way, West Virginia is the highest percentage ancestral rates out of any state in the United States. I was like, not even Alabama. I was like, Alabama's like, that won't fucking me. Who is it then? Virginia's like, that guy. And it's just like banjo music.
Coming from the hills.
There was this clip. It was a Russian soldier skit where he was walking through the forests in West Virginia. And then all you hear in the distance is just like the banjo music start to play, and then he starts screaming
nice.
the whole Russian, screaming blah blah blah. They start shooting, and then all you hear is all the like all of them, like hundreds of like hillbilly rednecks coming from the hills, all down onto the Russian position. And that was the joke video that I saw that originally came to me. Was like, those places like West Virginia and like a good chunk of like the South and the middle of the United States, if there was a like Red Dawn scenario, would be fucking no man's land. Because I don't care how big your military is, them hillbillies have been growing in them mountains for longer than you have been alive.
Yes and
You don't
no.
fuck with West Virginians.
Counter argument there, right? And this is something I genuinely believe in. Counter argument. Well, not necessarily counter. So everyone's like, oh yeah, all Americans have a ton of guns. We got a ton of guns. The hillbillies and rednecks. And I mean, the shit that hillbillies and rednecks build for fun. I know a guy who, really nice guy, just does a lot of cocaine, but he builds Gatling guns that send D-cell batteries through Winnebagos. Like, it's just something he does in his spare time. Like,
God.
Yes, I love that
American.
guy.
Fucking
he's like 82
American.
years old. Like
He's 82.
he's like,
You know what?
yeah.
He.
Oh,
You know that whole thing where a lot of vintage guns are grandfathered in? I think like the ATF is like, nah, that old fool's a grandfathered in at this point.
He's 82 years old. He's the world's oldest, I think, Hell's Angel. And he just builds like Gatling guns that he can crank with a hand and sends like D-cell batteries and golf balls through Winnebagos and fucking whatever he wants to shoot them at. Like, it's just something he does in his spare time. But anyways, so that's
What a
a
guy.
portion of it. Oh, he's a nice guy. Little racist, but nice guy. Anyways, so that's part of it. The other part is we have a generation of veteran. My cohort here, the one Riley, can probably attest to this. Well, we spent 20 years fighting an insurgency. So you have like 2 or 3 million vets in the U.S. that are pretty well versed in how an insurgency is supposed to operate.
And
Like, that's the...
and most of the time, like most of them are either hardcore red-blooded Republican or are independent or libertarian, because God forbid, and I'm sure that yes, there are of course Democrats, but just making the point. Even here, they give less of a fuck.
They just, most of them, honestly, I've realized that, like, at least the people that I met, I can only speak from my experience.
Yeah.
The more combat somebody has seen, the less they give a shit about political affiliation. Like, they just I'd leave me the fuck alone. Like, that's their whole thing. I just want to be left alone. Like, that's it.
That's why
I didn't even
like,
see a lot of combat. I was just like on random flight lines everywhere getting mortars and missiles shot at. I wouldn't call that combat at all, but I just don't even know where the fuck I sit anymore. I have no idea.
I just
when
want to
you've
be
been
left alone.
shot
That's
at
right.
enough,
Yeah.
you're like you have like two differing people who are arguing and saying, "What are you? You have to be something." Is like, fuck off.
Yeah, I want the fucking gay couple next door to be able to protect their weed plants with fully automatic weapons. Like, that's the point
Yeah.
that I'm at. Like,
AK-47.
Roll Tide.
yeah, like I mean, M134s, AK-47s, they could have a fucking mortar. Maybe the neighbor's got an F-14 Tomcat parked in their driveway. I don't give a shit. Like,
I'm just under
That's-
there loading fucking bombs on his under.
like that's all I want. I just want people
and
left
you
the
know
fuck
what?
alone.
That is what neighbors are for.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. Yes, of course. I'll help you load that 1,500 pounder.
That's kind of like
Where
what it
the
is
hell-
out here because I live in very rural Montgomery, Alabama. We got about 256 acres out here. It's all family or cured land, but it's like there's cousins and then there's people out here, but we all like.
But
The
if
guy,
you do,
what's the
sorry.
guy who got a 50 cal blown up on him again? What was his name again?
Oh, the one who was it was a slap round that he
yeah,
fucked up.
a dirty slap round.
Well, yeah, it was a heavy slap. It was something that shouldn't exist. That barrel's not rated for that kind of fucking.
I know. I looked. I watched the creator break down how strong this gun is and how fucking mad it had to be for that dude to do that.
Yeah, like no. Okay, so we had a guy in our unit. His name was Mallory.
So we got one
Something
guy.
with the Mal. Yeah, and we called him 50 cal Mal. Well, 50 cal Mal melted a 50 cal barrel. They were in the middle of a fucking firefight, and you can tell exactly where he was aiming when he loaded the box of slap in there. He burned through like 500 or 600 rounds, just full cyclic, because it was straight up
I would
fight.
fucking hate to be the end of that shit, man.
Yeah, well, the
Fuck
barrel
yeah.
was like it was probably
Like that
Oh.
80-year-old man you're friends with.
like it had like a 15-degree bend in it permanently. Like Lord knows how hot this motherfucker got, but you could see like so he was. I mean, we rolled through there as on Route 1. There was like gunshot holes, like there was bullet holes, and then there was whatever building he aimed the slap rounds at. And like you could stand on the street and look straight through the holes, and like when you lined up perfectly, you could see the sun at the far side of the building. Like they just went through every fucking room. Rumor has it he killed like 9 guys that day, but I have no idea.
I really
See-
hope they let him take home that barrel.
I would love
I
that.
feel
man.
like, but after the small arms repair guy chief getting pissed at him, is like, why in the fuck is my barrel bent like a weird dick?
I'm alive. You're welcome. That's probably how that conversation went. Like, right.
That is
I-
another cool thing about being a weapons member because they do let us take home some pretty cool shit. So I got like a bullet that they got out of trajectory of a T whatever tank that was shot out of one of the F-16s that I loaded, and I got the casing and the
I got
See,
something here. Hold on.
That is a
Bullet.
definite like bringing like, hey, this shit fucked some shit up.
I can show you real quick if you like.
Oh sure. Yeah, let's
I
see
don't
it.
know
I got
how
all the
that does
toys.
on terms and conditions.
I got
but
a couple
we're-
things from the Air
The
Force.
video's only going to be posted on YouTube. You'll be fine.
Okay. So I got this from some Air Force.
Love that.
It's an aluminum fake round. It's not a real round. Well, eventually it'll come out of there, but there's no primer.
Yeah.
This is from what I'm told, this is from the CRAM or whatever is equivalent to a CRAM. So, which is I think 20 mil. Now the 30 mil, I got this from AJ on
Goddamn.
TikTok. This says habitual line crosser on it, the real habitual line crosser.
Love
This is
it.
from Inspector AJ on TikTok. He actually sent this to me. So this is an A10 shell. And still smells a little bit like sulfur. So yeah, that's
I
Oh,
will
you got a
say-
30 round as well?
yeah. I got it from
Yeah.
Inspector AJ. Oh,
Uh,
hell yeah.
We were at Kusan Air Base, and they were kind of short some weapons guys, and we helped them load some 30 rounds, so they gave me one for that.
Oh,
But
nice.
This is the tank one that they got. So this was 20 mil, and it came out the F-16. So we took that one back, but they actually plucked this one out of the tank, and I was like, wow, that's kind of in perfect condition. It's just a high explosive incendiary. It stayed in shape, and they're like, yeah, We got about 90 of them. Y'all want 3? I was like, I just want 1 from my crew, and you can't even
Yeah, you
put
can't
it
even put
together.
it
I
together.
wish I could, but it'd be nice.
There you go. Anytime. See, I looked surplus on how to get those. By the way,
I got this from a warrant officer. He's just like, you want it? Yes, I
Yes.
absolutely want
Of course it's
it.
that.
100%. Yeah. I don't know if there's any voltage going through it, but I got one last thing here. Let me get it.
It's all fun and games when you click that off one day and you hear an explosion in the distance.
It's like,
what the fuck? What is that? Is that a what is that?
that's a little boy model, isn't it?
Well, it's a. Do you want the truth or do you want what I tell people when they ask?
I want the truth.
So the truth is, my cousin found this. He was doing construction at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, which is right across from where I grew up. And they used to make sarin gas, mustard gas, all sorts of terrible shit out there. It's empty. Well, this one's empty. There's nothing in it. Like I've already looked inside of it. It's only like 10 pounds, but it's yeah, he found it out there, and it was yellow, and I spray painted it blue. And every time someone has like an impact on my life, they sign it, so there's signatures all over it.
That's
and when
cool.
I retire,
That's
I'm gonna clear coat this thing and hang it up on the wall.
That is absolutely badass.
Yeah.
Nothing like chemical weapons, man. God damn.
Oh, sarin and mustard are fucking. We wish we could uninvent those. But I do got one last cool thing. Sorry, I have a shelf over here that I keep on my.
Oh, you're good.
One last cool
Wait,
thing.
it's more stuff that people. By the way, anyone listening on the podcast episode or from the TikTok, go ahead and go to the YouTube, and you get to see all these goodies that we're all showing. In the videos.
After he shows his last one, I'll show my last one too.
That's a filter.
Well, no, this is a missile plug. What this is it sits on the back of a canister for a Patriot Advanced Capability version 2 or Pack 2 interceptor. And I fired Pack 2s. I can actually look it up on YouTube if you look up IBCS Flight Test 5. I was the first soldier in history who ever fired missiles off of IBCS. And I did it in December of 2019, leveraging an F-35 to help guide my missiles in. And this is one of the missile plugs.
That's gorgeous.
Dang, all I got on that is I was the first airman to get a commander to sign off on doing porn. That was it. Yes, I got him. Yes, I'm sorry, dude. I love it.
Spit take.
Oh, fuck me,
Mark it
man.
off. Mark off incident. Last spit take.
No, I wasn't ready for that, man. I hold on. You can't just walk past that. Now I need that. Now I need those details.
What?
2016, I was stationed at Dias Air Force Base under Commander, so and so and so, and she was great, absolutely awesome. And when you do off-duty employment worksheets for any kind of person who wants to do an extra job, you have to send it through your supervisor, which my supervisor, cool as fuck, great guy. Me and him still talk to this day. Awesome. We have to send it through the squadron shirt. Then we have to send it through the squadron chief, the base judge advocate, and then the squadron commander. And every single person signed off on me doing OnlyFans in 2019.
Dude.
And I posted about that on Twitter. I was like, hey, if anybody still wants to critique me a little bit, here, I get it. I'm active duty, but I blacked out all the information.
Honest question: did you actually do it, or did you just do it to try and get the thing signed?
No, I actually did it. It actually paid for this entire computer setup.
Jesus Christ, man! I don't even know.
It's a
that's the
porn
thing.
stash.
I tell you,
It's not just for fun.
Listen,
okay.
Mom, if you ever hear this, I'm so sorry. I have an account. I just haven't used it. I have one ready. It's sitting there if the occasion ever arises.
Well, so I feel bad, right? Because I know female creators that have that shit, and they post kind of cryptic messages about it and stuff, and I want to build them up because they're creators and that they're trying to get their name out there and they're trying to do stuff. So I want to
support
like it.
Just because they do sex work doesn't make them a bad person.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm always worried that I'm gonna like one of them, to try and boost their algorithm and help them out, and they're gonna be like, "Look, habitual line crossers is a fucking weirdo." And I don't know. It's just a fear that I have. I don't know.
No, a completely understandable fear as a male content creator is just avoiding that. I get that. I 100% get that.
That's just a fear of mine. I want to build up my female compadres, but I just at the same time I worry that it's gonna be habitual line crosser is a fucking pervert. I don't know.
Just don't talk to too many women at the same time and face the same cancellation I did. That's all the advice I can give to y'all.
Wait, what? You had now I need details.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't mind.
Hey,
I'm gonna
There
put my missile plug
was,
back and grab my bottle opener.
which, by the way, for anybody watching, they have all apologized since,
okay.
and because
Context, we're all good.
it was a very because I know I did wrong, but in the same scope of the thing, like they kind of like pushed the boundary there a little bit. Um, but there was a person that I was talking to, and she came and visited me, and she was under the assumption that we were in a relationship. But I did tell her, I said, I don't want a relationship with anybody while I'm in the military. I don't know how I feel about that when I get out of the military. Uh, but, and at the same time, I was talking to somebody else. Well, they found each other somehow,
Oof.
buddied up, and they're like, hey, we need to call his ass out. And then there were nine, nine women for sure that I was talking to. When I was talking to somebody else, I wasn't talking to all nine at the same time. I was probably talking to two at the same time at most.
Man,
But
and
they,
I couldn't even get a text back before I got married. All right, continue.
it's weird, man. I don't know. I feel like I look
I'll
like
give
a
him credit.
baby.
He's a
I
handsome
don't
guy.
get it. I don't
No,
get it, man.
no,
But
I get it. Don't even.
and
Listen, like tag chasers. I'm not going to be rude and disrespectful, but that's a term and it's a thing. 100%. I know female friends of mine that will only date a Marine. Only, like it's just yeah.
bad idea in my personal opinion because all they want is blood for the grass to grow. But that's on
Damn.
personal opinion. I know that's not everybody, but there's a majority.
Marines just they got fucking that Marine video I made. Like that, you realize that video, the one that went like has like I don't know 1.8 or
Yeah.
maybe 2 million views. It was an experiment. I was like, I want to see if I can just
It's always
like
those.
yeah, like I wanted to see if I could like force TikTok's hand, right? So I was like, all right, first off, I need something that people are really biased about. It was either politics or the Marine Corps. Like it's just they're just super biased. So I made that. I was like, all right, Marine Corps is my topic. All right, what am I talking about? All right, I'm gonna sell them like they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Okay, and then I'm gonna post it during my peak fucking time of interaction, and that thing just exploded. And I was like, okay, we might have figured out exactly what I need to do here. And
Yep,
that, yeah,
hypothesis achieved.
I
Yeah.
made the B1 Lancer video and I was like, oh, I touched maybe like a little too close to. I maybe went a little too close to the sun because a lot of people were either happy with that or not happy with that.
oh yeah,
'Cause people
Dude.
love hearing about nuclear and oh my god, nuclear. I know I add a U to that, and so many people get like that's the one thing, number one commented thing I say, nuclear wrong.
Oh, at least you're not calling me a fucking was it a fat electrician knockoff? That's my number one comment, man. I get those all goddamn. So you know what's funny? I said that last
Dollar
night on
store
stream, and a
donut
couple
operator.
of my followers. Oh, you?
TJ Maxx. I would say TJ Maxx version.
I got a couple of those, and I said it last night on stream while I was drinking. I was like, fucking yeah, they keep on calling me a goddamn a knockoff of the fat electrician. So like, I got tagged, and like 4 people went, or well, definitely 2 went and told the fat electrician he was a knockoff of me. People that were in my stream. I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, I'm hoping he says something to me like, well, they showed up in mine now too. Well, congratulations. I
I've
laughed
had
at the comments.
So many people like in that B1 Lancer video and any video I have about any like specific thing, like especially the Iowa one and B1 Lancer one were the ones that so many people tagged fat electrician. I'd be shocked if he didn't see that video at this point with the amount of people that
Oh, the dude's busy as shit all the time. He's really hard to get a hold of.
and I could tell because I've attempted to because we're sort of like I'm more in the meme like for shits and he's more straight facts and like goddamn, and that's why he's doing so well. But man, is he busy! And since
he is a busy dude,
and
and
since
well, I mean,
Chief got CW3, he's been hell of a lot more busier.
oh yeah.
So it's just.
I
It's
just
hard,
like to.
man, like especially in the military. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to go back to like my last little thing I wanted to show y'all, but
Oh shit, my bad.
Oh sure, you know.
for those of y'all, because a lot of people look at this and like that's just a piece of wire with some rubber at the end. Well, it attaches to another basically mirrored shape of this on the other end, and it attaches to a bomb. What this was attached to was a GBU 31 version 3, and it was somewhere over the Middle East that I don't know, or I do know, but there was a convoy of a certain type of truck going down the road, and they said that that bomb went directly into the ground and boom, and it flung three of those trucks probably about, I don't know, it's close to about the size of a football field away from where the position where they originally were. And I was like,
I
dude,
love
I'm
this country
fucking
so
keeping
much.
this.
I
And then
love this
got
country
the
so much.
removed before
There
flight
you go.
You know what's funny?
safing pin for it too.
We give the Air Force a lot of shit about like being, rear echelon,
Chair
rear echelon,
Force.
but y'all get your jollies off fucking having like strike videos, because I've been in the secret share drive on an Air Force base. I've been in there, and y'all have hours. I mean, literal hours of strike videos. And I watched a lot of them. So this is a kind of cool story that goes full circle, right? So when I was in Afghanistan, the alpha designation, or excuse me, like the first couple letters of the first letters and numbers of my AO, because you obviously, for those of you who are not familiar with military grids, it is two numbers, a letter, and then two letters to give you like an area, and then it's eight numbers and eight numbers, or well, sorry, four numbers, and then sometimes six numbers and six numbers to give you an exact location, right? Well, I remember, and when I was in Afghanistan, all my grids started out with 4-1 Romeo, Quebec, Quebec. Every single grid, because that was RAO, 4-1 Romeo, Quebec, Quebec. And I'm sitting there in fucking 2016, I deployed in 2010, and I'm looking at Air Force strike videos because I have the fucking TAC land and I have nothing better to do. And I'm going through and I see an A-10 strike video. How did I know it was an A-10? Because I see the nose of this aircraft going straight at the ground, then the camera shakes a whole bunch, and everything on the ground fucking blown to smithereens very, very quickly. So I knew it was an A-10. And each of them had like a date time group and a grid. And I saw 4-1 Romeo, Quebec, Quebec. And I was like, I wonder if this is the motherfucker that iced those dudes that had us pinned down. I'm wondering if I'm like full circles. I don't know if it was. The date wasn't, it was like a year, but it didn't have a month. So I could have watched the A-10 video that I watched from the ground in 2010 in 2016. Yes.
See,
I get some guys like that. Well, when we were out deployed and stuff, we had a team come in. I want to say they were SEALs. I don't know for sure or not. I didn't get a good look at any of their patches or anything like that. But we were in the chow line, and they were closer towards the back. They had big 6'5", about 250, pure muscle, just looking mean as hell. Probably could kill you with a stare. They're coming by and they said, "Where's the Air Force weapons guys at?" And then me and my crew were like, "Uh-oh, what'd we do?" We kind of like raised our hands.
My bad.
And they're like, "Get the fuck out of line!" And they like picked my small ass up arm to arm and was carrying my ass, and they carried us to the front of the fucking chow line. And they're like, "Y'all are eating with us today, god damn it!" And I was just like, "Oh, that's pretty fucking cool." That was the only recognition I ever needed in the military. I don't need no fucking medals. That's it.
just a leadership owner right there. I was like, oh
Yeah, really. I was like, oh, I'm doing something.
There's this one Navy guy. He has a big beard. I don't know if you've seen him. He's a, I don't know. He's like ginger. I forgot his name on TikTok, but he did a recent story where when he was being a guard on like when the dock or like the major docks where the big boats are coming in or big warships are coming into dock, right? So there was this one gate that would lead out into an area where they were doing pretty much the docking operations. So the captain of that boat, actually I think it was probably the commander of like a few of those boats, he was responsible for getting everything squared away. He sent out the order, hey, no one allowed to this, like there was only one exit to get into that area. So he was posted there and he was ordered, no one goes through, no one, period. And some puckered, felt like feeling himself fucking second lieutenant, felt privy to just like he had to go over there. He wasn't having it, that he was being told no by some I think it was like a lance corporal. Regardless, he was like there and he couldn't handle it that he said no. Started calling people. Once the boat eventually docks, by the way, this guy had plenty of time to walk around. Like, there was a way to walk around. He just wasn't having it. The captain of that boat came out and says, "What the fuck are you doing?" And it's like, "This motherfucker won't let me through the goddamn door." It's like, You mean the one I ordered specifically not to? He walked around, and then the captain says, keep up the good work. You did absolutely everything correct. And then walked away. And I was like, he was like, huh.
Thank you, sir.
I chased a major because of a similar situation. I was in Korea and I was protecting the battalion, right? It was for a training exercise, and everyone had to show me their ID as they came through. And Major Short, she was a very small, blonde young woman who had a chip on her shoulder and thought she was better than everybody else. And I don't think she fully realized how very close she came to young Sergeant Long fucking leveling her ass. But like, I was like, ma'am, I recognize who she was, but she didn't show me her ID. Training purposes, guess what? I don't know who the fuck you are. That's how we work. And she comes through the door, and I was like, ma'am, let me see your ID. And she goes, well, I forgot it, and just goes to push past me, which my brain goes, she's testing you, fucking ball her ass up. That's what my brain goes, right? And I'm following her, and I say, ma'am, and she ignores me. And I like get louder. I say, ma'am, and like that was the point where my brain was like, it's about to go down. Like that was the moment. And like as I go to pick up my pace, because I'm about to grab this 04, this fucking major, Captain Mascal, my commander at the time, like reached around the corner. He's like, "You're good, Sergeant Long. It's not part of the training exercise." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I don't think she realizes how close. Like I was gonna fuck her ass up. Like you're getting put down like a bad habit. Sorry.
That guy said the one thing that really made that video like perfect was, don't get your rank mixed up with my authority. Because he was given authority of that gate. He was responsible for it. It's like, there's 100%. No rank. Doesn't matter. You be the president. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Safety-wise, which is one of the most important things, which is sometimes lacking in a lot of areas in the military sometimes. Pucker factor, of course. Continue. Billion stories. Don't mix up your rank with my authority. And that pissed off that second lieutenant, made him red mad. It was like, that must have been satisfying, at least a little.
I mean, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna tell a story I had when Iran was declaring war on us in 2021. We had I think it was like January 9th, but we had all 14 bombers, even only 4 of them could fucking fly. All 14 bombers at Dias Air Force Base loaded up with 28 JASSM cruise missiles each. And the security forces decided they wanted to do a photo op that day in front of the jets while we're loading these cruise missiles. And we're like, no, we're trying not to let them know our movements. And my supervisor, he's like, hey, go tell them to get the fuck out of here. And so I have to tell a guy with his fucking, M whatever they use, and just like, hey, you need to get out of here. Like, this is like confidential shit. You don't. That is the direction you need to fuck off in. And they just didn't want to listen. I was just like looking back at my supervisor, like, I don't know. He goes, push him, and I was like, all right. And I kind of pushed him down, kicked his legs out, and he gets up, you motherfucker, like pointing his gun in my face and everything. And his security forces guys had to come get him. He's like, we need to get out of here. And I was like, oh, thanks for showing up on time, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it, you fuckers. I had a lieutenant, right? So when I get told, I don't know if you guys understand how important a Patriot radar is, depending on where it's at in the world. Like it is
insanely.
Yeah, it's comparable. Like a Patriot unit, a firing battery is slightly less, but comparable to a Navy carrier. Like that's so once a week the president is briefed about my status of my radar. And if it's broken, he gets briefed on it more often. Like when my radar broke for 6 days, they chartered a C-17 from the United States to bring me a circuit card. Like, let me put it to you that way. Like, that's how fucking important this radar is, right? So I'm doing a surveillance mission. I'm in my van. I got my screens going. I'm just like, all right, we're just keeping eyes open in the sky. I'm burning the skies. No big deal. I don't see anything. Nothing's crazy. All of a sudden, my radar shuts down. Bad juju. So I'm like, I panic, right? So I comp out of the system, which means like I shut down the computer system. I'm like, my radar died, so I got to go fire it back up. And I run out there, and there's this little blonde lieutenant, and she is out there, and she had turned off S2. Now, S2, what that does is it's a compulsory. When you approach my radar, S2 means that it can't slew, it can't move, and then you put it into local, which means no one can control it except for the person standing there at the radar. This is also very dangerous to do to a radar that is actively radiating. Granted, mine's C-band radiation, so it only feels like all your cells are doing a dance, and you can taste pennies. So
He-
it's not the worst radiation I've ever taken. Okay, like
Little
like with a
aircraft
THAAD
radiation there
radar
too.
or like an Aegis radar, like when they're burning, if a bird flies in front of them close enough, the bird will just drop out of the air and like they're dead. Like there's nothing, they're fucking cooked, that they're fried. So mine's not that bad. So all of a sudden I go out there and she's got some Air Force distinguished visitors, some fucking colonels and generals and shit. And she's like telling them about my radar. And she never fucking told me she was there. And I was like, ma'am, that is my radar. Like, I'm in the middle of a surveillance mission and she's like, oh, we're done anyways. And like that was just perfectly fucking hunky-dory, right? Like I am protecting the number one asset on the defended asset list for CENTCOM. Like that is the number one asset. All right, cool, got it. She goes down range, which is also not something you're supposed to do. You don't approach my launchers without an escort, like period, point blank. And she just decides to walk down there with these Air Force people who have no idea what's going on. And I was just like, you know what? I don't have enough rank for the ass chewing this woman needs. And I just like walk over to my commander's office and I was like, sir, this is what happened. I was in the middle of a surveillance mission for a DAFCO and she decided to kill my radar. And he just goes, where is she? And I look and I was like, LS2. And he just runs to his truck. I could hear him screaming from the launchers, which were over 100 meters away, just fucking blowing her ass up. And I was like,
Love
good.
it.
I'm gonna go back and just continue burning my radar. And like I just fired everything back up. Like, fuck, man. Oh, so frustrating.
Which, by the way, thank you and the people that work with you for what y'all do. Which I can't really talk too much about this situation still, but for Masawa Japan during September, October, and December of 2017. Thank you.
Oh, I'm trying to remember exactly.
Appreciate
But...
There was a little man in North Korea that was pissed off.
Oh yeah, he drops shit in the LOC all the time. Yeah, well,
Recently.
Yeah, if you how do I word this? Usually, if they're pulling their launchers out and they're fueling them up, we already know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the information flow that we have on our side of the house is just unlike anything you've ever seen in your fucking life. It is crazy. I had a bunch of people in black SUVs come and take my hard drive, more or less, because they thought I could see over the top of Iran. They were like, oh yeah, we need that right now. And they just took it and left. I didn't even identify themselves, which is probably a security breach. I have no fucking clue. And yeah,
Way above pay grade.
Yeah, they thought I was like looking into Iran, and I was like, that's a little bit further than I can see. I appreciate you thinking I had the little radar that could, but unfortunately, no. I can't see that far.
Physics disagrees with you, but okay. You know what? I'm not gonna argue.
We shall try.
I
wish I could talk about that situation though, but to my knowledge, I still know that it's like highly classified.
I have a genuine question.
It's
if like let's just say you were in the right place in the right time to be in a situation where you get told, hey, this didn't happen. I'm like, okay. Do you get notified when that shit gets unclassified?
No, actually,
or you just find out, like if it's posted by like Fox 5 or whatever the hell.
Absolutely, that's how I found out. So like I was told in 2015 that every 6 months in UA or in the Middle East, 150 ballistic missiles are thrown around. That's about the average every 6 months. I was told in 2015. I then heard that on I think it was Fox News broadcast in like 2019, and I was like, oh, I guess I can say that now. Like no one tells you that it's declassified or anything. They just like
Tucker Carlson's just talking about it right now. I was like, oh
yeah,
okay.
I'm like, oh,
Or
okay, I
Anderson
guess I can
Cooper.
say that now. Yeah, no one comes in like this has been declassified. No, nope,
I'm not, because I'm not gonna say his name because he is actually maybe gonna join in the future. So my stepdad, for clarification, he's 22 years Air Force. He was, I'm gonna say an older name version of it. See if either of you recognize. I know Riley probably won't. Well, maybe because you were in Air Force. My stepdad was Sal T. So he was Special Forces attached to the Army Green Berets as a weather guy in the early days when they decided to do that.
Isn't
It was
that
right before
JTAGs now?
it's right before JTAX or TAC P.
That was
okay.
That they've turned into what are now currently the reconnaissance guys, the Air Force reconnaissance guys. Or special reconnaissance is what their name is now. But
Dragon Ladies.
Ooh.
Very, 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 very tight knit, small number group of people. But when they originally did that, stepdad got he was in that.
What are you doing, stepdad?
he,
As I dream
he's
more, it's just gonna get worse.
He's expressed interest in talking in the podcast because we were all drinking on the deck one day, and he's like, you know what? Because my TikTok was blowing up in the past month. I went from 20K followers. I'm almost 75K followers now. It's insane.
Oh yeah.
And he's been taking it more serious because he's retired. He's doing nothing but what he's doing as his current job right now for the government. So he's like, screw it, because he doesn't have a hobby right now. So eventually we're gonna have him, but we have a family friend that was also a part of that knit group. He was, I forgot the exact officer, like the title of what he was, but he was one of the officers making sure the specific strike mission happened. He was over a lot of it through when ISIS. This is during like ISIS when it was on its last days, right? Where ISIS was pretty much numbered on what they were occupying, and there was one island in that was like, but like in the major river in Afghanistan. I forgot the name of it. I don't know.
You're probably talking about the Arghandab.
Probably one of the most biggest sophisticated like strikes in that, and like the amount of JDAMs that were dropped are staggering. Like that whole island, like Iowa class got leveled, or New Jersey class got leveled, and there was ISIS was specifying that. And I think you can find like the clip somewhere of like that strike online now, and it's just like the whole island is just, the island was there and then it wasn't.
Well, do you know why ISIS was a lot easier to beat than Taliban? Like, honest question.
Organization, probably.
Yeah, not just organization, but the main thing was they love to beat their chest. Here's the thing: we like, okay. So here's the thing about beating the Taliban. I'm going to tell you, there's two ways that we could have beat the Taliban. One way we tried, and the other way is, it's a war crime. Okay. So one way we tried is trying to win the national populace, right? And this is, I'm not saying this is the right answer. This is not the answer we should have chosen. Like, there is no right answer to beating an insurgency, right? And the other one is complete and utter genocidal extermination. And here's why. So Mr. Haji McBombmaker, Haji is not a racial slur. Don't anyone fucking come after me like that. It's an individual who's Muslim. Yep, who has completed their pilgrimage. Yep. So Haji McBombmaker over here, he has 10 kids. 5 of them are males, right? Because every Afghan will tell you that women are for pleasure, or women are for babies, men are for pleasure. It's a common thing over there. Yep. And
boys.
Yep. So he has five sons, right? So he has 5 sons, and he's telling his sons every day that he's fighting for freedom against the insurgents, or the infidels. He is fighting for the future of Afghanistan and the Taliban, right? And all of a sudden, we don't even have to do anything. He blows himself up. Let's say he's trying to plant an IED, fucking, instead of red, red, green, he goes red, green, red. All of a sudden, blows his fucking head off. It's happened before. I've seen it. We have now turned one problem into 5 more. It is a self-perpetuating problem. Yeah. So rather than deal with that one guy, we tried to convince everybody else who wasn't that one guy that we're the good guys. And the other way we could have done it is find out where that one bad guy lives and eliminate every member of his bloodline, to include his pets. So, but ISIS, on the other hand, they ruled by fear. The Taliban was much nicer. They were much more polite. There was a lot of differences between them, but the main thing is that ISIS loved to beat their chest. This is where I am. Come and get me. All right. said the Tomahawk cruise missile. Like, I fucking, there's just, you can't hide from the U.S., but the Taliban did a pretty damn good attempt at it.
Did you ever get to see the hit lists that they dropped, the ISIS hit list with all the
No, I
military service
A
members?
lot of
There was a big one. Like, anybody who was over there at that time, which, like, including me and my supervisor, they like got us in a room one day. They're like, "Hey, you're on this hit list," and we're just like, "What the fuck did we do? I don't get on that list." But there was a lot, big,
really?
lots of.
Most interesting fact is, how the hell did they get that information? How'd they know that Riley specifically, that fucker? He's like, It's very
Data leak
interesting.
security. There's a lapse in cybersecurity somewhere during that point in time. That's the only thing that I could think of how they would get like specific names and where people were. You know, uh, they had like I think they had our government email accounts, which is weird, very strange. I don't know how they got their hands on that, but they had like my supervisor's global and a couple of people that I was stationed with there too. I saw them on that list, and I was like, "Yo, motherfuckers, what the fuck is going
All
on
you got
here?"
to do is get a name, man. Look you up on Global. It's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just if I'm like this is the point that I'm at. I know enough, and I disagree enough, and I have enough of a social media presence that if I'm not on the government's watch list right now, someone should be getting fired. Like that's what I know.
I I knowing like how highly classified our nation's like missile defense is, just like on a civilian perspective, there has had to be at least 2 meetings between you and Fat Electrician. At least 2 staff meetings. Like, is this guy an issue or not? And they're like, there's gonna be that one enlisted guy who's gonna be like, I think he's funny.
Oh, I know they've talked about me behind closed doors. Like my sergeant major, the commandant of the NCO Academy,
Yeah.
he's walked over to me, and I have cards. I have habitual line crosser cards that my wife got for me. They got like QR codes and shit on there. They're really nice. And I gave one to my sergeant major, and he's like, "Hey, I lost it. Can you show me how to find you?" And like just handed me his phone. So I looked up myself. So I know my sergeant major like knows. I don't know how many other people know. So yeah, I guarantee there's been meetings about me on more than one occasion.
But I feel more comfortable knowing that there's at least been a meeting, because if there isn't a meeting and then something does go down, at least it's already meeting has already happened. There's already on paper. He's not a bad guy per se.
I am just yeah, like I don't think I'm gonna be labeled anywhere as a bad guy. I think I would be labeled as a liability, just because again I know secret stuff and I know non-disclosure agreement stuff, and I know both of them, and I'm I'm kind of known for drinking a little bit and talking on the internet. So, oh shit, I fucking
Woo! There he goes.
There you go.
there we go.
I and I say this for future posterity's sake. If any guy is tasked with watching, like if some scenario happens where some poor guy has to go through and listen to every goddamn episode. Listen, if any government agency has an issue with what I post, tell me timestamp to timestamp, and that shit will be cut out and put back up the evening, because it's not that hard. It's storing all your episodes on a server, like on a external server, or at least my server, and it is as simple as that. And then bam, as long as you tell me that, the rest of the episode doesn't have to be an issue, because I hate doing delete the whole episode. It was like,
Wait till I start telling you guys about Operation Afghan Welcome that I did last year.
I actually, that's the topic I wanted to talk to you about, because I'm clarification, I'm in Stafford, Virginia, and I don't really care. Stafford's big. If you're gonna find me, good luck, because the cops are being called.
I was in Blackstone.
Yeah, I am right under Marine Corps base. So, and I was security at a hospital, and the amount of bust Marine Corps transports that were bringing moms expecting mothers or already birthed mothers from over there
thing.
were all brought a shitload. Our whole nursery was mainly that. There was not enough births in my town to counter that. And yeah, so go ahead. I want to are you able to talk about that now?
I mean, well, like, what do you want to know?
Well, I mean, what exactly is it for the people who are listening who may not?
So, Operation Afghan Welcome was the single greatest logistical nightmare and success in world history, right? So, a lot of people will say that the movement of Dunkirk, which was 540 something thousand people, was the greatest movement of personnel. Cool. They moved them 60 miles across the English Channel. Congratulations. The United States moved 127,000 people 3,000 miles to the United States. I'm sorry, but I think that wins. Yeah, 127,000 people. At least that's the unclassified answer, right? When I was there, I was actually on my wedding anniversary with my wife. I was on my 1 year wedding anniversary. We were in Tombstone, Arizona, because I wanted to go to Tombstone because I'm a fucking tourist. And I got a call from my sergeant major, and he says, "Get your ass on a plane in the morning. You're going to Virginia." And I said, "For what?" And he said, "Call this number. They'll tell you what." And I'm like, "Cool, that's great." So Operation Afghan Welcome is in full swing, and
anniversary ruined at that point.
Yeah, anniversary ruined. So I get on a plane in the morning and I go to Blackstone, Virginia, and I was ended up staying in Farmville, Virginia, which is about 45 minutes from Blackstone.
Really nice.
Yeah, Fort Pickett is where I was ended up staying at. I liked Virginia; it was really nice, but I think like 2/3 of the forests in the United States are just in Virginia. I've never seen so many fucking trees in my life. Like
it is
every forest.
All it is.
Yeah, just every forest is Virginia from now on. Like it's just what I assume. So first, when I was there, I was in the G cell. I worked in the G3 for the general. General Harrison was in charge of that task force, the Task Force Pickett. He was actually the ADA commandant at the time. Really nice guy. I go way back with General Harrison. He's a really good dude. And at first, I was doing operations with him. Then the Marine Corps showed up, the 26 MEU, and they took over operations. And that was an interesting experience working with the 26 MEU. They were very different than the Army. Like they were doing things with their government travel cards that I would have definitely gone to jail for. Okay, just because mission requirements. That's how they got away with it, right? And then I was out there doing contracting, and contracting was good and bad. It had its like moments. Like I'd be walking around with little kids, would be like, because I was in charge of an area called Afghan Village, which was 250 trailers that were cleaned 3 times a day by contractors. There was porta johns cleaned 3 times a day by contractors, showers cleaned 3 times a day. So I was in charge of contracting. That was my job. And there was moments that were really nice. Like I'd be walking through and little kids would come up and grab my hands and we'd be walking together and I got to practice my Pashto and those were the moments. Now, the other side were moments that weren't as nice. Like they would shit on the ground literally right next to a porta-john.
Oh man.
And that was a nightmare for me as a contracting NCO because like the contract says they got to clean the porta-johns. The contract doesn't say that they have to pick up shit off the ground. So like I had to modify the contract to try and facilitate that. And I had to try and educate the local populace, which it wasn't an education thing because it pissed me off. They were doing it on purpose because I had a tent that had a mosque on the side of it, like just a picture of a fucking mosque, and no one shit inside that tent. But they didn't know how to go to the bathroom inside the fucking porta-johns. Like that was the part that irritated me. Not to mention the U.S. government was just hemorrhaging money during the entire experience. Just hemorrhaging. I can't tell you exactly how much, but just a fucking lot.
It can't be any small number because the moving that many people is ridiculous. So
moving that many people, feeding. What's that?
This was when the Taliban took over when we left Afghanistan, essentially, correct?
Yeah, we just scrambled and grabbed everybody and left. And so we had them at 7 or 8 different locations around the United States, and we were naturalizing it. It was a joint effort. It was I was working with Navy. Navy was in charge of medical where we were at. Air Force was in charge of transportation where we were at. Space Force was in charge of internet and fucking data transfers.
Goddamn.
Coast Guard was in charge of customs. Army was in charge of operations, and the Marine Corps was in charge of security.
So you tell me every single branch had a hand in this?
Every branch was working simultaneously. Yeah, it was a really eye-opening experience and understanding how different branches operate. I don't just knowing what I know about what happened there, I cannot think of a single country in the world that could complete that operation. China has a lot of people. Congratulations. They don't have the manpower, facilities, or capability to process that many people into their fucking country. The United States did it. There were some failures. There were some hiccups. There were some diseases that were more or less eradicated in the United States that were brought into the United States, but we adjusted. Well, the Navy was very quick to address those, treat those, quarantine people. Like the Navy was on it, man. Like they were really, really good. My biggest problem is that just the amount of money we were hemorrhaging. Like I just every time I saw a pile of shit on the ground, I just thought like that is costing the American taxpayers money, and that's the part that pissed me off. And then like some little kid would come over and hold my hand and we'd walk around through the trailers and stuff. And I'm like, all right, I feel a little bit better about this. But that was the part that fucking bugged me. Just knowing that American taxpayers that stand up every day, say the Pledge of Allegiance, care about America, are hemorrhaging money for somebody who just didn't seem like they cared. Yeah, like there were some that really wanted to learn. They wanted to care. They wanted, how do I do this? How do I do that? They're trying to speak English. They're really putting the best foot forward. And then there were some that would pull the fire alarms because they missed chow. Here's the thing. If you missed chow at any of these locations, there was a different chow hall that was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that you could go to. So all you did was miss chow at this chow hall. You didn't miss chow at this chow hall. And they would just get pissed and be like, I missed chow. Pull the fire alarm. Where's my food? Like, fuck you. No, stop it. Like, it was the most annoying thing. But there was a lot of them that really, like, they really wanted to be here and they were really trying to do great things. I'm sorry. I know I'm like fucking.
No.
monologuing over here.
This dude, you're like, the whole, like, written down plans of what I wanted out of a podcast is you're doing it. I want people to feel comfortable. Just ramble. Don't do anything illegal, but ramble.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's where I'm trying to be like, all right, I need to remember what's classified and what's not classified anymore.
And I mean, I'm working out that part of y'all's brains that you normally wouldn't. Yeah. They were, at least in my experience as a security officer, not an issue. Like they had a specific person there that was assigned to them that did everything for them. If they needed something, they got it. And security wise, we had no issue with any of the mothers that came to our nursery.
The mothers, yes, there was a few. Naturally, there's bad apples anywhere. Like you can't move 127,000 people without there
and
being
not
some
have
bad
a few
apples.
assholes.
Yeah, there was some of them that had issues, and I'm sure it was public knowledge. They decided to put their hands on a female service member. By the way, she fucking rocked them. Yeah, they decided to
experience.
Yeah, they put their hands on her, and she wasn't having that shit. And we're just like, well, what do you want us to do? Like, we're gonna incarcerate the guy as we should, and he's gonna be a registered sex offender. But I think he's kind of learned his lesson because she put the hurt on him real fucking quick. There were some that. Like security started becoming a big issue, and it's really weird. Humans in general, not even just Afghans, they devolve very quickly. Like they started hoarding things that didn't need to be hoarded. Like they were hoarding toilet paper and food, and there was more than enough TP to go around. There was more than enough food to go around.
That's where all that TP went. I'm joking.
It was really strange, man. Like it was.
Is that where all the TP went when we
fucking I don't know, man. I just.
Or are we talking about military grade like 1-ply?
Oh no, it was the worst. It was like half ply. Like this shit was translucent.
Sandpaper?
Oh, it was bad, dude. It's government stuff. But like they would hoard it, and we explain like we have them come in 3 times a day to put in more TP and clean the bathrooms. Like 3 times a day.
But it tells you how bad it was over there to have them have that type of habit when we're having our logistics handle it perfectly that they're attained to.
It was also really hard to get them to understand like you're safe here, right? So a lot of them, the first thing they wanted to do is like, I need to arm myself so I can keep me and my family safe. And it's like, no, you're safe here. Like, just tell us what's going on and we will help fix it for you. Like that was another really hard thing to get through to people. It was just like, you're safe, you are fine, no one's going to hurt you, no one's going to murder your family or your kids. Like, relax, you're fine. So that was another difficult thing.
That must have been relieving for a lot of them because, like at least from what I can I wish I was still in the army. Like I wish I continued to, but like things happened regardless. But like to be able to learn more about over there, because like I can hear a million stories, but it's never really going to attain to the fact. But like. We all know how it is to live here, of course. Yeah. And then hearing over there, it's just like, holy fuck.
Well, it's really weird when you experience. So, like, the more, and I'm sure the one Riley can attest to this, when you go to like third world countries, it makes you hate Americans. It really does. Like, they bitch about fucking everything, man. Like, God, my gender pronouns. Who the fuck cares? This dude woke up with a landmine on his front porch. Like, fuck you. It's just the weirdest thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, Riley.
He's looks like
I'm not. No, I'm. Yeah. I do remember one time, I saw this, a small child, and he had like cuts all up and down, like face, eyes. I think like his eye was really badly ruptured, and he was like, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, what the? And he was just, I'm like, somebody get him medical attention. What the fuck is going on here? And they're like, we can't touch him. We can't. Like, sorry. And just like security forces, I'm just like, what the? And the little child, he was just like, huh, soccer ball, kicking the soccer ball around.
Yeah, they just like
Like,
I saw a guy one time and I looked. So two of them stick out. One, I looked in a hole in his fucking rib cage and I saw his lung collapsed in at the bottom of it. And all he was saying was, "Can I get some pills to fix it?" Because they think Americans have pills for everything. Like I saw that, which I don't even know how the fuck he was alive. Like everything in my brain told me he should be dead. And then the other one was a guy who would every step he would take, his fucking shin bone, whatever that was, he had a bullet hole through it. It would bend backwards every step he took because it was shattered and it was all gangrene. Like we just straight up told him, like, dude, you're gonna lose your leg. Which, by the way, gangrene will fucking gag a maggot if you've never smelled it before. It's the worst thing I've ever smelled.
Stonewall Jackson. That's how he died.
Yeah, bro, it's the craziest thing. Like you see this over there, and then you come back, and Americans like, oh, can you believe this? I can't live like this. They didn't get my spiced chai latte to the right temperature. Like, it just makes you fucking hate
Get
Americans.
fucked, Karen.
Like
is
it's
what
the
my
worst
response
thing,
is
man.
with that.
It's God, and I hate it because I love America. I love the country I'm from, but I realize that the country I'm from has created a generation of fucking pansies. Like
I'm
they
so fucking glad my parents raised me like with some fucking sense of just like hating people like that. I listen, like I catch myself every day. I try and make an exercise for myself. It's like, listen, try not to be stuck up, cause like you like, and I get it. Some people are raised different, so raised so wrong, and to think that they're entitled to so much, and when they realize that's taken away, that they complain about even the smallest thing. Like, you gotta learn, like, sometimes at the worst, someone is experiencing something worse.
Yeah.
So it's just like for anyone who's dealing with that and wondering about that, run through a mental exercise. It could be way worse.
mm.
And at least in America, yes, it's gotten like inflation's gotten fucked up. Everything, like, dude, cost of living here in my town alone has gone up $500 a month in rent. So as like, good luck. That's why I'm still living with parents. I wouldn't be in my own apartment right now if it was not for what's going on. But I try and at least bring myself a perspective that it could be way worse.
Well, I guess it's a weird. Go ahead.
Like, I was thinking I'm lucky in general.
Well, like it's a weird thing, and I don't know how much ground pounding time anyone here has, and but it was so strange, right? Like you hear Americans, and the loss of a child is the worst thing you could possibly imagine, right? And I don't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't wish that on anybody.
Same.
But like you go to Afghanistan or Iraq or something, and you hear like a father who lost one of his kids, and he's just like, oh, that sucks. Like, and it's just so nonchalant because they're so used to just life being fucking miserable. And then you come back and you see the way Americans are, and it just irritates you. Like it's the most irritating shit I've ever seen in my damn life when Americans just bitch about things in general. You have nothing to bitch about. Your life is great. Yeah, sorry, I'm off my fucking pedestal.
Purest point. Like, do you like what you got? You want to say something, Riley, about that?
Oh no, I was just gonna say you're all good, man. Like, all good.
It's wild to me, and I'm excited for in the future whenever my stepdad finally I've been trying to convince his dad to get a podcast episode forever. So the fact that he sought out me and he did it when he was drunk, so his filter was gone. And I was like, we may not be giving you that drink, which recently has like been Revolvers, which is a fucking pure alcohol drink. We're gonna have beers because your ass gets too fucked up on those drinks too quick.
It's another reason why I quit drinking.
I smoke.
This is the first weekend I drank.
I have Delta 8 more than anything, but like what I was meaning to ask, that those 100s, those bottles, are those nicotine or is that?
Yeah, these are just nicotine.
Yeah, I'm talking about like. See, like there are like Delta 8. I know a lot of like avid smokers are like, Delta 8 diet weed. It's like, I get it, but broke. And Virginia's in a really weird limbo thing. It's legal here. We're allowed to grow plants, but we're not legally allowed to buy seeds yet. So it's just like
that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. That's exactly every Virginian's agreeing with you.
I'm gonna go use the little air defenders room.
Gotcha.
And that's what I call it.
No, I love that. It's little air defender. I have so many small decks. it's
I'll stand in line with that one too.
me
I'm
too.
definitely little.
I, hey, growers, we're all growers here. Um,
Hmm.
but regardless of it, Delta 8 is definitely different. That's definitely a different experience, and
I
you
agree.
go through it way quicker than normal, ordinary Delta 9 run of the mill fucking weed, and
Hmm.
that's what makes it a little annoying. And fucking like quality control. Like, what do you do? Like, do you just have like your own concentrate and you have that little setup?
Well, when I did it, I have a job now with the Air Force again, contracting with them, so I don't do it anymore. But they don't have any drug policies, so I'm kind of confused about that, and I just don't want to
You don't
like
want to. You
catch
don't want
one
to bring
day
it
and be
up.
like, ah, no, 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 it's all good. I can definitely talk about like, December 1st, 2021. That's when I started doing it, and I even had people like, hey, we will ship you the real stuff from like Oregon, Washington, stuff like that.
California,
And I was like, that'd be fun,
please.
but I don't want to get in any trouble.
Oh man.
But with like Delta 8 stuff, I would definitely say that it was it felt like it hit very, very much faster. It hit a little bit harder, but you have like with the real thing, you'll have like a longevity about like 5 hours off of like a good high off of it,
We're
and you
talking
can
about
cut
Delta 8,
that in
by the way.
half.
I was
Yeah,
like,
you
I
can.
assumed you guys are talking about, a type of mental stimulant.
And you can cut that in half with Delta 8, but that peak time is so much faster, and it just goes do 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 do,
That's why it
and
messes
that's
more with
why a
Delta
lot
8.
more with cartridges you'll hit, and then like I don't feel anything anymore. Hit again, and then you'll wake up and you'll be like, oh fuck, oh my lungs are killing me. Holy shit, I need to go to the doctor.
It's um it's absolutely different, and this is just talking from like a normal resident. Like, I did smoke normal, like run of the mill high school dealer weed, and also best thing in my life to be best friends with the drug dealer of my high school, because the amount of freebies I would get, good lord. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, but now that it's legal, we're in a limbo stage right now until like 2020 fucking 4 Q2 2024, till whenever the fucking dumb Commonwealth legislature fucking decide already whether or not, what are the laws, what are the restrictions, what people can grow on their own time. Like, what they need to do, and at least as me, like as a person who would like to own a business like this, they need to make it easy, like some of these states have, for small uh like small growers, just like a farmer size, not industrial. Like, I don't have a five, like $1 million 10,000 square foot. No, I can start small, and for whatever the hell, and make it easier. You know why? Because that's going to make Virginia a stupid amount of money, which they need to do because the roads are ass. 95 specifically, and railroad.
I just I'm at the point where I think that they should federally legalize it because I'm one of those people like look at the byproduct, right? I'm a realist. So, okay, so we legalize it
I'm gonna
federally.
I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, or
Go ahead.
little. I'm gonna say little bald man's room. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So, if we legalize recreational cannabis federally, number one, you can federally tax it, which provides more taxable income for the federal government. Cool. All right. Number two, the amount of people who are getting kicked out of the military for it is going to drop. Number three, the amount of people who get DUIs in the military is going to drop. And number four, the amount of individuals who have domestic violence issues in the military are going to drop. So literally, the only thing that is going wrong with the U.S. like for the on the federal level is potentially showing up to work high. That's the worst thing that could happen right now. But I'd say right now, when I used to do that stuff years ago before I joined the military, it was sit on the couch and do fucking nothing for like 15 hours. I didn't want to bother anybody.
Yeah, indicas in the couch.
Yeah, like that was. I just there's no. So I'm a logical person. So like I look at everything from a logical way, which is really weird. Like, I get it why somebody killed that person. Like, I get it why they murdered them because it's a logical reason to murder somebody. By the way, if you're listening to this, there's zero logical way to ever sexually assault somebody.
Agreed.
You'll die before finding a reason to logically do that. Like, there's just none. But on the logical side of the house, there is no reason to stop it from federal legalization. Like, I can't find. I want to find one. Like, okay, is there a reason? No, there's literally none. I cannot find a reason to not federally legalize it.
I'd say 100% agree with that, especially for mental health treatment.
100%.
Oh,
yep.
oh my God! As soon as like people get back from overseas, give it to them, please.
Absolutely. It helps
Let
with
them handle
PTSD,
it.
Parkinson's, all sorts of stuff.
Instead of here, I'm gonna grab this. This is what they gave to me to handle.
Jesus.
Still have all of them. There's like probably 20 more bottles, but it's just
Jesus Christ.
all
man.
sorts of Busaprone and Proaxin and shit that starts with a Z. Sorry about that. I'm back now, but I mean,
No, that's a lot of fucking pills, man. After Afghanistan, I was a fistful of pills. That's for the longest time, and I weaned myself off of them just because I wanted to get through things, and I'm a huge advocate for mental health, but it's just like the cost associated with recreational cannabis does not outweigh the benefits, and to me, as an individual who tries to remain logical in everything that I do.
yeah, I mean that was actually what I just had in my hands. That's from the VA for the next 7 or 8 months, so that I wouldn't have to go back every month and re-up on prescription. That's why all the pills are still in there. I do take them, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, I don't need to get hooked on this shit.
Yeah,
And I'm more than positive the federal legalization of marijuana and any kind of THC products is going to help combat that 1,000%.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's just, call me fucking Joe Rogan. I just think there's too much benefit to it, and naturally, it's hard for me to advocate for something like that because of my profession and my position. But I mean, they can piss test me 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Like, I'll pee in a cup. I don't care. I don't partake in this stuff myself. But even though I don't partake in this stuff myself, it doesn't mean that I can't see the benefits to others. Like, that's
Right.
I don't know. Naturally, it's not my job as an NCO to write doctrine or write regulations. I simply enforce it, and I will enforce them accordingly. However, I have a brain, and I can realize when something is working for somebody.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. And if we just, I just really want them to steamroll this thing. Get it on. Go
Yeah.
test it on people. Test it on active duty. See how
Yeah.
they do on it. Test the OPSEC capabilities. Test the actual like performance capabilities of it. If they
Yeah,
think
not
that
to
it's an Olympic performance enhancement, I'll fucking make it that way for active duty military members so
Yeah.
they perform better in the field.
Are we
Like,
talking
this is the
about-
thing. I look at it like after a long day or a long
we
week, I
talking
want to
about
come
weed?
home. I want to come home and do something that's real bad for me, right? So I want to come home and have a few beers. I want to come home and have some whiskey. Like, that's just the way that I am. But like, bro, I would save so much money and time if I could just come home and hit a fatty and just sit here and play video games and not bother anybody. Guess what? I mean, I might raid my fridge, but okay, who fucking cares? Like,
Yeah. You're still gonna make tape.
yeah, exactly. Like,